Good morning, BST. My name is Elijah Abdul Sayed, and welcome to this episode of BST Talks.
Hello, Cowboys. I'm the co-host of this podcast, Killian Leong. Today's topic is what is BST Ambassadors?
Today, we will be interviewing the BST Ambassadors teacher, Ms. Christensen, the president of BST Ambassadors, Megan Ratio, the vice president, Valeska Henderson, the secretary, Rohan Alam, the representative, Isaac Lee, and the financial advisor, Oliver Chen.
First up, we have our teacher, Ms. Christensen. What is BST Ambassadors? What is its purpose?
So BST Ambassadors is a leadership program for BST Academy specifically. And then our purpose is kind of just to run recruitment events, anything leadership-wise events that the students have, leadership days, spirit days, things like that. That's what we're in charge of.
If you had to describe it, what would you say that you do as the BST Ambassadors teacher?
So as the BST Ambassadors advisors, I kind of oversee what everybody else is doing. So there's different committees in BST Ambassadors. And I'm kind of just the overseer, the advisor. So I just make sure everything going out looks good. I run everything, make sure that everything is like checked off. Everything is good to go as far as like everybody on the outside looking in. And then I obviously help the students along the way if they need anything.
What are some difficulties you face in this position? In what ways can it be rewarding?
I don't know if there's like many difficulties with the BST Ambassadors Advisor. I mean, obviously, sometimes it can get a little stressful with events coming up and then teaching on the side 2 other courses. But I think other than that, it's kind of just managing your stress, managing your time wisely. And then it can be rewarding because, I don't know, a lot of the stuff that we do for the students is fun. The recruitment events that we have, the Discover BST, incoming students coming in and saying that they had a really good time, or even students that we have now at events that we are holding, saying that they have like a really fun time. I think that's the part that's rewarding is just seeing the students having a really good time. And then also the students in BST Ambassadors saying that they enjoy it is rewarding in itself.
What else would you like to say about your position in BST Ambassadors?
I think the only thing I could say is that I really love it. I enjoy planning. I enjoy taking care of things. And I think that being the advisor of BST Ambassadors, I have a really fun time. So I think that's kind of the only thing I have to say about that is I enjoy it a lot.
Thank you, Ms. Christensen. Next is the current BST Ambassadors president, Megan Ratio. If you had to describe it, what would you say that you do as the president of BST Ambassadors?
So basically, as the president, I am in charge of overseeing and planning events. I also plan the agenda for each day, every class period, and I also am in charge of overseeing our leadership team meetings, which include the rest of our executive board as well as our commissioner.
What are some difficulties you face in this position, and what ways can it be rewarding?
So kind of similar to what Ms. Christensen said, one difficulty that I would say that we experience is managing time. But kind of how we deal with that is just by staying organized and delegating jobs amongst the rest of the class. And it can be rewarded by like seeing the success of the events that we have and, kind of just seeing how much we've grown over the past year.
What else would you like to say about your position or BST Ambassadors?
I'm very grateful for the opportunity to serve as president. I'm really proud of how much we've grown since the past year, and I'm very proud of the events that we've been able to put on. And overall, I'm just super excited to see what we can do as ambassadors in the future.
Thanks, Megan. Next, we have the BST Ambassadors Vice President, Valeska Henderson. If you had to describe it, what would you say that you do as the Vice President of BST Ambassadors?
So as Vice President, I think I'm very much the President's right-hand woman. I help her with the agendas and leading meetings. And then I have a very heavy hand in running the elections on the BST campus. I helped create all the deadlines, organize everybody that was running, all the materials, all the things like that, the behind the scenes of the elections. And then I'm also just there to be helpful and just to answer any questions. That's basically my job.
What are some difficulties you face in this position? In what ways can it be rewarding?
So difficulties that I face is obviously when things get stressful, like when we have different events that gets kind of hectic, and also in a position where people are constantly tasking you something, or you have to go out of your way to find something to do. Sometimes you feel like you're not doing enough, but it's rewarding when people are like coming to you and asking you for help and you're able to answer those questions and really be of service to them. So it's always nice to know that you're like helping people and guiding them.
What else would you like to say about your position or BST Ambassadors as a whole?
So I'm really happy with the position that I'm in and what I've been able to accomplish within it. And then I'm also just like really proud of our ambassadors and all that they've accomplished. And I'm really happy with the community that we've created within the BST Ambassadors class.
Thank you, Valeska. Now we have the secretary, Rohan Alam. If you had to describe it, what would you say you do as the secretary of BST Ambassadors?
I think my number one job is to communicate with the students and teachers for any documents and meeting minutes that we have. So whenever we have a leadership team meeting or a debrief from a specific event, I am in charge of like dispersing that document out to the students so then they can learn and kind of understand what to do for next time's event. I'm also in charge of business meetings alongside Megan Ratio, our president. We work together to advise the students on what needs to get done for the upcoming month or upcoming week. And that's just about that for the business meetings.
What are some difficulties you face in this position? In what ways can it be rewarding?
Some difficulties I face in this position is trying to like organize documents sometimes because there can be such a handful. In what ways can it be rewarding? It can be rewarding when documents are like properly like sent out and people look at the documents to learn from and understand for the next time.
What else would you like to say about your position or BST Ambassadors as a whole?
I'd like to say that I'm very appreciative for my position as I've had a great support system around me. I'm glad that people instill their trust in me as their secretary. So, yes.
Thanks for that, Rohan. Our next guest is BST Ambassadors representative Isaac Lee. If you had to describe it, what would you say that you do as the representative of BST Ambassadors?
So what I do as representative is go to all the different meetings on the campus, such as like ICC or kind of the school side council meetings. And also during the class, I kind of represent like kind of the interests of all our members of the class and kind of like try and give my effort to obtain relief or kind of like a good kind of foundation for all the different activities or things that we do around the campus.
What are some difficulties you face in this position? In what ways can it be rewarding?
So obviously when I'm going up to like the school board or kind of like the kind of higher levels of government in our campus, they kind of show, I guess, sometimes like no interest or it's hard to get things through to kind of like get it passed. So I guess that would be like one difficulty, trying to pass all these different interests on to like the higher government so it can be implemented. But then I guess obviously the reward from that is kind of like them actually doing it and actually seeing the progress and the work that we put in and all the different ideas so that our school can flow better and be more diverse.
What else would you like to say about your position or BST Ambassadors as a whole?
I don't have anything else to say about my position, but I'm just really thankful for BST Ambassadors as a whole, as they're a class that's very hardworking, determined, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I have.
Thank you, Isaac. Last up, we have the financial advisor, Oliver Chen. If you had to describe it, what would you say you do as the financial advisor of BST Ambassadors?
As your financial advisor for this program, I purchase all supplies related to our events, workdays, and etc. Along with purchasing new supplies, I take a monthly inventory of our current supplies and present our receipts at our monthly budget meetings.
What are some difficulties that you face in this position? In what ways can it be rewarding?
Some difficulties I've encountered in this position would be keeping track of our supplies, as they tend to get scattered throughout our different classrooms. This would be necessary as I take our inventory. These difficulties and the position can be rewarding because they teach me some basic aspects of finance, from managing money and finding the best quality materials for the cheapest prices to taking inventory and keeping track of supplies. This teaches and prepares me for the future, as it teaches me how to be responsible with money, have good work ethics, and time management.
Thanks for that information, Oliver.
Thanks for listening, guys. Tune in next time for a new episode, What BST is Thankful For.
And remember, be your best at BST.